Hey guys, this is Chad and Warwick from the Griffin Music Academy. In association with Paul Barthel Music and Rotosound Strings, today we're presenting a quick lesson on how to restring a Floyd Rose guitar. For a downloadable version or the text write-up, click on the link to our website in the video description. First off, a rundown of the tools we're going to need: strings, Stanley blade, toothbrush, paintbrush, silver, lem oil, guitar polish, peg winder, side cutters, microfiber cloth, masking or painter's tape, and a 3mm Allen key. For this video, we're using a low pro edge bridge. As you can see, the saddle locks are located on the back of the saddle over here, in front of the fine tuners. Whereas on the original Floyd, they are located at the very back of the bridge. The low pro edge is a double locking tremolo based on the Floyd Rose design with a lowered profile. With the exception of where you unlock your string, every other step in this video will apply to both. The first thing you're going to want to do is unlock the locking nut. For this, you need to use a 3mm Allen key. One of these should have been provided when you first bought your guitar. You insert your Allen key and gently turn. The rule of thumb is lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Once the locking pads are loose, use your fingers to unscrew and remove them. Keep them somewhere safe because, like picks, they have a tendency to walk off, but unlike picks, they are not as easy to replace. Once each of the pads are off and you have put them somewhere safe, grab your peg winder. Peg winders are dead simple to use. You just pop them onto the machine head and rotate the peg clockwise to slacken the string. You only need to unwind the peg until there's no tension left on any of the strings. Next, grab your side cutters and clip through the strings. I personally prefer to clip my strings down the middle to discourage myself or my students from using old strings, although some people prefer to keep old strings as a backup. Now we're going to remove the string at the headstock. Simply hold the string and turn it around the machine head until it's loose, and remove. Exercise caution here, as they can on occasion snap back and stab you in the finger as they are removed. Using the same 3mm Allen key we used on the locking nut, we are going to loosen the saddle locks. Insert the Allen key and, as before, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Gently give the saddle lock 2 or 3 turns until it is no longer clamping the string to the saddle. From here, it's a matter of simply lifting the string out. It may be interesting to note that if you're using an original Floyd Rose, you may want to block the bridge, or you'll have to depress the whammy bar every time you loosen a string. We'll be posting a video of this in the coming weeks, so if you'd like to stay updated, subscribe to this channel. After you remove the last string, we're going to head on to the cleaning phase. Grab your paintbrush and your toothbrush. First, using the paintbrush, lightly dust the guitar to remove any fine dust from the pickups, scratch blade, cavities, and bridge. Next, grab your toothbrush. Using the toothbrush, we're going to remove the stubborn grime from the hard-to-reach places of the bridge. Inevitably, as we play, skin flecks and dust get into the small cavities of the bridge and can cause the bridge to corrode over time, so it's always a good idea to scrub your bridge once in a while. Once you're done with that, brush off any residual dust that cleaning the bridge may have caused. Next, we're going to clean the frets. Over time, the frets accumulate grime from our fingertips and lose their sheen. However, cleaning the frets is not purely aesthetic, as it will improve the playability of the instrument. To start with, we're going to tape up the fretboard, leaving only the frets exposed. Be as accurate as possible when lining the tape with the fret. The purpose of taping the fretboard is to minimize residual overflow of the silver. When silver dries, it leaves a white powdery residue which can look unsightly. This is the most time-consuming part of the cleaning phase, but it is well worth the effort. There are products available on the market that make this job go faster. For example, the Planet Waves fret polishing kit, or the slightly more abrasive method of using quadruple zero steel wool, used for things like polishing porcelain. As you move up the fretboard, the frets become progressively thinner, so you'll need to cut the tape in half and then thirds. For this step, we prefer to use the Stanley blade, but scissors can be used. Just like before, line the flat edges of the tape against the frets. Finally, we're going to cover the neck pickup. We cover the neck pickup to prevent leftover residue from the silver from getting into the pickup cavity. We're going to be cleaning the frets using an expendable rag. Dab a corner of the rag into the silver and apply to the frets. No force or pressure is needed. In this step, we will clean one half of the neck at a time. Once the silver is dry, take a dry section of the cloth and using a minuscule amount of elbow grease, buff the silver off the frets. Then repeat for the second half of the fretboard. Once your frets are clean, remove the tape. To remove any residue as well as accumulated grime, spray the fretboard with a fretboard cleaner. Then work all the grime off the fretboard using your toothbrush. The final step in fretboard maintenance will be to apply a small amount of lem oil to the fretboard. Using a liberal amount of lem oil is not recommended as it can cause damage to the fretboard. Using a rag, rub the oil into the fretboard and then remove any excess. To polish the guitar, simply spray a fine mist of guitar polish onto the body. Use your microfiber cloth and polish the body in a uniform direction to avoid unsightly streaks. Repeat this process for the headstock. Now we move on to the restringing phase. First, grab a string and gently unwind it. For a Floyd Rose guitar, we need to cut the ball end off the string. You cut the ball end directly behind the windings of the string. Insert the string into the saddle and tighten the lock. Use caution not to over tighten the block as you can strip the thread. And don't forget the golden rule of lefty loosey, righty tighty. You also have to ensure that you do not under-tighten the block, as the string will slip out when you tune to pitch. It is our preference to adjust all machine heads so that their eyelets are pointing towards the nut. Next, thread the string through the eyelet, making sure that you go over the nut and under the retainer bar. From here, it's a matter of turning the peg to create tension on the string. The method that we use to ensure that we have enough slack on the string is to A. Pull the string all the way through. B. Lay your index finger on the third fret with your ring and middle finger underneath the string. C. In one smooth motion, lift your finger up vertically while your second and third finger maintain tension on the string. Here, we're going to look at a way of threading the machine head that creates more compression to prevent the string from slipping, and in our opinion is neater. First, we thread the string through the eyelet of the machine head, adjust for some slack to create windings, and then begin turning the peg anti-clockwise to get tension. At the first full rotation, tuck the string tail under the taut section of the string and continue to wind the string up with the tail passing underneath. At the second full rotation, pass the tail of the string over the taut section. This will cause the string to tighten down onto itself and prevent slipping. Also use your peg winder to save your fingers and make the job go slightly quicker. Before tuning to pitch, it is a good idea to ensure that the fine tuners on your double locking tremolo are sitting in a more or less neutral point, leaving enough room for the pitch to travel when fine tuning. First, unscrew the low E fine tuner until it is as far out as possible. Then, adjust the high E fine tuner until it is as far in as possible, and use the two extremes as a level when determining the middle point of the A string fine tuner. Then, simply adjust the other 5 to match the A. Use your side cutters to clip the tails. Side cutters have a flat edge and a grooved edge. I prefer to use the flat edge as it gives a cleaner, neater cut, closer to the machine head. After tuning the guitar, it is time to replace the locking pads. Place the locking pads with a raised point between the two strings. Then, using your Allen key, gently tighten the pads, but use caution as too much tension can strip the thread. So as you can see, it's fairly simple to restring a Floyd. Just practice patience and you'll get it done in no time.